Good morning. Well, is it morning? Is it afternoon? It's one of those again, isn't it? Welcome back. So we had a little bit of a break. I was in Morocco on the sand dunes with my side by side. It was fun, but the food wasn't fun, and its effects on me weren't fun. So I'm not 100% at the moment. So anyway, let's crack on with checking out MakepadUI. So, just a quick recap. What have we been doing? We've been evaluating Rust GUI technologies in order to determine which one is going to be suitable for creating a cross-platform desktop application with desktop-style widgets without using horrible web technologies like JavaScript and HTML and all this kind of thing, right? We've been also creating a little spreadsheet of all the findings as we go along with this as well, which is this little spreadsheet up here. So we looked at Freo, we looked at Visio, we looked at Floem, and we tried them each for about a week or so, and we've got a bunch of findings. Let me just paste the link to this in the chat for those following along. There we go. So, yeah, MakepadUI. So I think maybe a week or so ago, I can't even remember what I was doing. I think I started creating an example of sort of like the skeleton example of what the kind of things that I'm going to need in my real application. And I started creating an example here. Didn't get too far with it. Just had a little experiment basically. There's not any real documentation for MakepadUI at all at the moment. The only documentation that exists is this, and we had a problem trying to even find this. And the only way I found this was by asking on the MakePad Discord server. Which basically goes over some things. So we haven't got a lot to go along with here. I had a quick read through this. I watched a couple of the videos and so on like this. Asked the author Rick a few questions in the Discord about various different aspects, such as internationalization and things like that, which doesn't exist yet, which isn't ideal. So we're going to have to look at that at some point as well. And MakepadUI's got an interesting sort of architecture. The detail in the widgets, I'm just trying to scroll down to find it. There's some useful diagrams in this as well, actually. There's this statement, where is it? Let me try and find it. State animation, no, where is it? Yeah, this statement here. This is the interesting bit that makes MakepadUI somewhat different to a lot of the other UI frameworks that there are in Rust. So it says MakepadUI DSL, it uses a DSL, does not rely on a single giant interpreter. Instead, it is defined per widget. Therefore, every widget can determine its own rendering mode, whether it be immediate mode, retained mode, or a mixture of both. So normally you either choose immediate mode or retained mode, but this has a mixture of both, which is interesting. And it also, your main sort of event loop thing is like handle event, and you basically ask the UI for a button with an ID and call the clicked method on it, and if this returns true, this clicked method, then you run some code, as opposed to using like closures and callbacks and other events and things like this. I don't yet know how this is going to pan out. I had a quick look at some of the other example applications that are written in this, and honestly, I didn't really like what I saw with regards to code reusability and so on. So if we look, say, for instance, at where is it? trying to find it now. Oh, I think it's experiments. Trying to find it. Ironfish. This is examples. Right. So this is a synthesizer. Where is it? We'll just run it just so you can see it. Right, and then we'll have a quick look at the code. Right, so this is a synthesizer. Blah blah blah. Right. So inside there's obviously going to be a whole bunch of stuff that says when you click this, do this. When you click this, do this. When you click this, do that. So let's see if we can find that code just so that we can see what it looks like. Right. So we've got this handle event in the app main, and it's got audio graph handle event with. Dispatch action. Interesting. That wasn't what I was expecting to see there. Huh. There's some random separate audio graph thing here. Okay, we'll ignore the audio graph thing for now. Let's see if we can find the rest of it. Self.UI handle event. Where is it all? Ah, here it is. Match event for app. Handle actions. So yeah, so this is the kind of thing, it's like, if something is clicked, then do this. If this is clicked, then do this. If this is clicked, then do this. If this is clicked, then do this. So I'm not entirely sure that it's the greatest idea to bundle all this stuff up in one giant method. Like this, because there's a lot of things going on in here. I'm not entirely sure about it. I have similar concerns with the giant switch statement or match statement in the Crux apps for every single event. I don't know. Just I'm not entirely sold on this giant handle actions thing. All right. Because it's not all self-contained. The problems I see with it, I'm trying to see if I can verbalize my thoughts here. The problems I see with it, if you've got a large application with lots of developers all trying to add features, they're all going to be coming to this same handle actions file and tinkering around with the code at the same time. And the problem with giant methods is that because they churn a lot, you never really get the time to clean them up and refactor them. Because what happens is you often end up having lots of outstanding pull requests, and one developer has changed this file, and another developer has changed this file, and another developer has changed this same file, and they've all changed it in different ways, right? So what happens is you can't refactor this giant method because your pull request backlog. It basically means that if you refactor it, all of those other developers who have changed that method, the long method, right, then have to rebase it against your refactor thing every time you change it. So what happens is you don't end up refactoring that giant method, and it just gets larger and larger and larger and staler and staler and staler and a hideous spaghetti mess. That's been my experience. yeah. So by having like little self-contained bits, right, that are in, say, separate files or separate methods, it makes the whole review, merge, refactor, rebase process much more simple, and you're far less likely to get merge conflicts, for instance. So yeah, I mean, that's just on the project maintainer side of things. We're not even going to go into my thoughts on how this violates like the solid principles. Reason for change is the key takeaway bit, really. If there's multiple reasons for changing this file, it's doing too many things, and therefore it violates solid principles. Right. So yeah, okay, back to this. So what are we trying to build? We're trying to build against a set of requirements that I wrote a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if I can find the requirements. Yeah, here we go. Oh, and I've got this on the stream. I've got this mouse findery thing now. So if I move the cursor around like this, it does that. And when I click on things, it leaves the little dots behind now. So that might be useful, more useful for people following along. Tell me if you like it or not. Right, so we're trying to create a main window that's resizable with a toolbar, tab content, and a bunch of other things. I went through some of this in previous streams, so I'm not going to go over all of this again. But basically, we're at the stage where we've got a main window with a title. I'll go back to it. Let's just run it. Right, this is where we're at. So what we've got to do is create a toolbar across the top, and then some tabs, and then some content. That comes on a bit too quickly. And then a little status bar at the bottom, maybe. So, yeah. So one of the things I found that was a little bit weird was that the title bar of the window, right, was in the center. Yeah, that comes on too quickly, that does, doesn't it? Let me turn that off. To do this, by the way, I'm using this Power Toys, the new version of this Power Toys thing. Let's turn off that. But this is a window, right? But normal windows, they don't really look like that. Let me just bring a window up that's like, I don't know, Explorer or something. Here's a tabbed window. I guess Notepad's the same now in Windows 11, right? And then we bring up Paint, right? And they basically have a little icon in the corner, right? And then they have the title, and it's not in the center like this. This was in the center, and I was trying to make it so that it was, you know, the space for an icon over here. Honestly, though, I think I'll just live with that for the time being, and then come back to that. But trying to work out how to actually change that was an exercise in itself, a useful exercise in itself. And it basically involved going into the details of the theme and all this kind of stuff. So, things to note about this. It's using this theme desktop dark. And if you find like the definition of where this window thing is, it's in like theme desktop dark. So if we bring this up for a moment. This thing, right? This thing has got this live design macro, which basically defines a whole bunch of things that you can use, right? It also defines like labels, H1s, and all this kind of stuff, right? And adds some styling and things like this to it. And it turns out that window is defined here as well. So this is defined here as being window base plus these other things. Right, this is how I'm reading this. And then it's got this caption bar, and this caption bar is defined here. And this is apparently a solid view. And normally it's not visible, so you have to override it and say it's visible. And then you've got a caption label inside the caption bar, right? So there's a caption label, which is a view that's inside the caption bar, right? And then if you want to fiddle around with alignment and margins on this stuff, then you have to go into and change it. Now, I was a little bit confused by this align thing. It turns out align is sort of like a normalized value between 0 and 1, which you can think of as sort of like a percentage. So 0.5 is 50%. So it's aligned vertically in the middle and horizontally in the middle when you go 0.5 and 0.5. So I wanted to override the X on that so that it's left justified, and it turned out that's how you do that. And then I want to say the label should have some text that is not MakePad, right? And that's apparently how you did that. Yeah. But I was running into some sort of weird issues with this. Because if I set 100 pixels here like this, which is, I thought it was going to be 100 pixels, right? That doesn't look like 100 pixels to me. So let's bring up the handy on-screen ruler. Here we go. And this is also from the Power Toys thing. And it's kind of interesting, this ruler, is it's kind of neat. It doesn't work how I expected it to. Anyway, it says it's 201 pixels. So why is everything being multiplied by 2? I don't know. I haven't worked that out yet, but that's where I got to before I went on my holiday. Yeah. So let's get rid of the ruler. So I don't know why 100 is 200, because I'm specifying it like as an actual number. Seems a bit odd. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a quick screenshot of that now and then fire that away in the Discord server. But can we need to do a clip snipping tool, innit? What? No. Okay, so we need to do a timed 3-second delay of a rectangle, I think. There we go. Did that work? It did work. Yeah, let me fire this away. Anyone know why when I specify 100 for right, I've asked in the Discord server about that. We'll see if someone comes back. Because that's a mystery to me, that is. Okay. So, yeah. Who knows? Let's set it to a nice 32. Alright. So, yeah. So, let's bring up the UI zoo again. Oh man, it's funny being on holiday and then coming back to things and just, I need a little bit of time to get back in the zone. Okay, let's run this. Nothing like jumping straight back in the deep end after a holiday. Right, so we're trying to find things that we can use to make a toolbar. So, these things, flat mode, these look like suitable types of buttons for toolbars. Let's try using that. So let's search for flat mode in this example. Okay, so there's a button flat. Button flat. I can have a lovely icon, this one. So what's this view thing anyway all about? Is that just like a container? I suppose we need to find out what a view is, don't we? Is a view a widget? It is, look, it's one of these. Okay, a view is a widget. Right. Just trying to learn this a little bit. Is it a text draw list? Right, here's a view, here's the struct. Right. Doesn't tell you what it is. But it can have a layout and a walk. Yeah, some strange naming in this. There's like turtles and walks and things like this. There's a bit of unusual jargon which I hadn't come across before. Some of which is described in that document that we looked at. So you can turn it on and off. It can have a focus. I don't know, do I need a view to put it in? I've got a body which is a view. Let's say toolbar is going to be a view, right? And yeah, it's going to flow to the right. And there's no text, there's no handy auto completion or anything like that here. There's like, you know, none, which I don't like. You know, even with XML, for instance, if you were doing XML, you at least had like, you know, you can point it at an XSLT or a no, not the XSLT. What's the one I'm thinking of? the thing that tells you about the structure of the document and all the permissible elements and things like that. So HTML is essentially XML, and there's a specification for it, which you use for validation. And then your IDE can use this specification to prompt you for things that you can actually type. But with DSLs, no, everyone just forgets all that information. Oh well, past history. So you just left guessing basically, or cross-referencing, which is annoying. So we're trying to create a toolbar. I don't know if I want any alignment yet. I do want it to fill the container though. And I want the height to be as high as the tallest element, so that makes sense. And here there's commas and there's no comma. I mean, what happens if you were to put a comma there? Would it work or not? Is it like a thing and a comma or a block? Don't know. Anyway, so we're going to borrow this button. And then we're going to create self-resource icon favorite. How does that work then? What crate is it in UIZ? Where is that? Resources, icon favorite. Okay, so there's little thingy jiggamies, SVGs that we can use. Fine. You see, there's fonts and there's icons and all this stuff, isn't there? What were those icons? We found some icons. Vizier uses icons, doesn't it? Yeah, Vizier. Right. This said icons provided by something. That's it, this. That's what I'm trying to find. What on earth is this? So, are these SVGs or are these fonts or what? Let's see if we can find one for. We had this before, didn't we? Like, what's the icon for new and save and everything? A floppy disk was for save, wasn't it? And there was a picture of a folder or something. Like a picture of a file or something. Who remembers? Folder new or something like this. It's not really a new folder that I want to create, but you know, this. SVG. Right. Let's see if we can put that in the right place. So we're going to create a new folder for the resources. And we're going to pop that in there. There we go. And then I want the name of the file in here. Fine. And then we're going to say new. And this is concerning me because I want internationalization here. What I want to be putting is like some key to like some phloem. Is that phloem? What is it called? Well, we go back to the Visio thing again, don't we? Visio, because they use the localization. Fluent. That's what I'm trying to find. Fluent. What I want to be using is fluent keys here and fluent files. So there we are. Curious. Okay, so we can't do that, so we just have to put some plain text in here, which we don't really like. Because coming back and doing internationalization and localization after you've written an application is a nightmare. Especially when you've got string interpolation and all this kind of stuff. So, because really what needs to happen is this button flat, whatever does this, needs to take this text and then look it up. Look up the translation. Yeah. Okay, so what happens when we try and run our thing now? Have we got any typos? Well, we've got a button and it's down the bottom. I kind of wasn't expecting it to be down the bottom. I wasn't expecting it to be a red square either. Okay. Why? Okay, let's have a look at this SVG. Right, and then let's look at this one. Right, so why have we got a red square? Is it create? Self resources folder plus SVG. I mean, that looks right. Were there any errors? I don't like the fact that there's loads of warnings. Like, let's just add these things in when we need them. I can't see the wood from the trees at the moment, so I'm sure we'll probably have to, deal with some of these at some point, but right now I need to be able to see the warnings and errors and all the rest of it. And then this warning is coming from here. Is this coming from a nightly or something? Because this is a Windows debugger visualizer. Where does this attribute come from? As a feature. Is this an error? Because there's a feature defined. This should be like feature equals whatever. Or something. How do we do it? Features. Feature. I don't remember. Who remembers? Config attribute and then feature equals whatever. Oh, it's with the quotes. It's supposed to be like that. Well, we assume it's supposed to be like that. Yeah, right. So now, hopefully, we've got no warnings. Happy days. So let's run it now. So we're still trying to work out why the icon is red and why it's at the bottom. So let's go back to this. So we can see why something is supposed to be red here, but it shouldn't be a red square. Okay, so let's go back through and look at this. So it says blah, 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 blah. Align target class not found. What is this? Okay, so that's where it comes from, but it's complaining about app.rs. Is that line 5? 223? Oh, is this because the line numbers are wrong or something like this? There's like half an error message here. It says, and on Windows. It's like, what? MakePad needs nightly only proc macro span feature for accurate line information errors. Great. So we've got to use a nightly rust. So how do we change, like, is there a toolchain file? No. Be nice if there was a toolchain file, because then at least you'd know, like, what version of Rust to use, or what one works. Right. So it wants me to do rust up install nightly. Really? I guess we install nightly Rust then. Okay. And then now we have to convince our IDE to have some extra settings. Okay. Who can remember where it is? Build execution environment, probably in here. Build tools, cargo. Where's environment variables? Who can remember? No. Build execution environment. Debugger? No. Coverage? No. 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 Is it here? No. Where is it then? I don't care about that. Okay, so how do we, so we can run it, right? But I don't want to change the run configuration. I want to change the build configuration. This. How do we change that? Oh, I don't know. I guess we're going to have to look it up. I don't know. Someone else wants to know too. Want to source effect build, yeah. Yeah, I don't care about path variables. There's something in the documentation. Oh no. Software development, honestly. Why am I looking at bug reports? Right. Yeah. Do I really have to create a new one? I bet I do. So, this is all manner of stupid. But here we go. And then it says, and obviously I can't do that now. That. So we go plus nightly, do we? cargo plus nightly build and then whatever. Okay, so let's edit that again and put it in front of it. Okay. Huh. Oh, that's good. I've introduced a new warning for this. Huh. Interesting. Interesting that they've actually added this warning. Cool. Okay. So now we want to run it. So let's, I guess, duplicate this one and call it run. With the same thing on it. Yeah. Why can't I press go? What? Where's it gone? What? Oh dear. So why is... No. Okay, oh, I see. Right. It was using the old one without... Well, no it wasn't. No, I don't know why I couldn't press the run button. What's it doing now? Like, what? The hell is this? It's pretty random. Is cargo running or something? Like, why? Why? I've broken my IDE. Okay, let's quit the IDE and start it up again. I updated my IDE to the latest version yesterday. Was that like a result of the adding a new thing with the same name and clicking OK and it not working? I don't know. So we're trying to find this one and we want to run it. What's it doing? I don't even have any way of stopping it. Look, there's normally you have like the tasks thing here, right? This thing comes up, but it's just broken. Why doesn't it work? Does this stuff only happen to me, or does it happen to everybody else? Is it just me? What am I doing here? Normally this stuff is just fine. God damn it! Why is it broken? Honestly, I've got no idea what might be wrong now. This is frustrating. Let's kill the target directory. Relaunch the IDE. And then press go again. No, it's just utterly broken. Why? What's wrong with it? I mean, all I've done is add this and this. I can't even kill it. Oh my god. I really despise problems like this. Okay, so just no. So what kills it? Plus nightly. Go. Broken. Well, okay then. So why does it kill it? Okay, let's attack this problem differently. So we know that adding plus nightly causes the IDE to completely and utterly fail, which is a bit unusual, to be honest. So let's make it use nightly a different way. By using a toolchain file, right? So the idea is you can specify a toolchain file, right? So we've got a cargo file here. Is it toolchain.toml? Yeah. Right, we're going to do that. Channel equals nightly, right? Perhaps. I don't know why it's complaining about this. Channel equals, and is it supposed to be in quotes? I think it's supposed to be in quotes. Okay. So then now let's see what happens. And then just to see if that's doing anything, because we don't know whether it's actually working, because we don't know what version of Rust it used. Is that the nightly one? How do you know whether your toolchain file is working? I mean, today's date is the 15th of the 10th, right? So I don't think that's working. Let's move this toolchain file up a bit. No, you see, how do we know which version of has the IDE picked it up, do we think? Yep. Yeah, I mean, none of these are the nightly versions, are they? Like, why? How do you know it's working? Do I have to specify? No, I don't have to specify a date. I don't have to specify anything else. I mean, let's see what it says if I try and build it now. All I want to see is the line number where the error is coming from in the thing. But because it uses some DSL instead of just regular Rust code, it has to do futzing around. And for some reason, it needs a nightly version of Rust, which I really don't like. So it says Rust up installed nightly. I've done this, right? But my IDE crashes when I do this, so I can't do that. So I want to use a toolchain file, but the toolchain file is not working. It seems like Cargo's ignoring it. There's two names of the file that the file can be. Oh, I think it's not using the right. I think the file name's not right. Because, see, I read it from here, all this, you see. But it's split over there, which was annoying, so I didn't see that. Even though I've got like a massive window. Ugh. Like, does this really need to be? Like, can we not have such a massive gap? Where's it coming from? Oh, anyway, moving on. It's just annoying that there's like a massive gap either side, like over here and over here. It's like, why? Okay. Trying to rename a file. So it's Rust toolchain. Right. I think that is now using a different version of it because it's having to recompile everything. Let's just amend that commit. Right. So it still doesn't work, but oh gosh. And it's still complaining about this. Let's just clear everything. We know that we're using a nightly Rust because we get this warning now. Okay, but we still get this silly message. If config not lines, right. Okay, so we need to add back on that environment variable now. This, because we took it off to find out why the IDE was crashing. Now we're going to try running it again. Right, now we don't get that error message. Right, so now we've got 1621. There's a random small little insect flying around my nose. Okay, so line 16. Align target class not found. Property align target class not found. See, developers, please use punctuation in the error messages and quote strings and so on, right? So here, this reads property colon align target class not found. What is the property? What is the error message? Is the property align target? Is the error message class not found? Is the property align target class and is the error message not found? Like, you've got no idea. You don't know. All you need is a bit of punctuation around the property name. So let's search for that and see if we can fix this. Look, it's very simple. You just do that. Okay, look, and now it's fixed, and now you can read the message properly. Okay, commit. So what's this? Is it live.source? Enclose property name in single quotes to improve error message readability. Fixed. Next. Right, so What does it mean though? I've got there, I don't know what it means. Align target property not found. Now, if I don't do this, and I don't know if this is the correct way of doing a comment, right? My alignment, it's now center aligned, right? So this works, but why do I get an error? Look, see, it's gone to the left now. So why do I get this error? Apply error. Property align, target class not found. What does it mean? What does it mean? Apply error, can't find target. Fix that typo as well while we're at it. Lovely. A hacky workaround. What's it doing? So it's applying something to something. I have no idea what this code is doing. What is it in? Is it in a widget? I guess it is in a widget. Okay. And when widget apply is called, it I have no idea why I'm getting that. Okay, screenshot time. All right. Oops, not that. Okay, so yeah, back to trying to work out why it's red and in the wrong place. So it's got body, width, fill, height, fill. But the toolbar is above the body, but yet the toolbar renders below the body. Why also is there a width and a height of fill on a window for the app? It's a bit strange. Do I need like a container in the middle of it? Like, height fill. Right, but it's rendering both things, and it's rendering the body afterwards. Let's look at this dark theme again. Right, and let's see if we can find window. Right, and it's got this flow down, and it's got caption bar, so I don't need to override the flow. It's got a caption bar, and then it's got a body. But then what happens to all the other? I mean, does it? What determines the rendering order? What is a keyboard view? Right. What is a keyboard view? There's also this sort of like base thing or something. Where is it? There's this widget base. What is a keyboard view? A keyboard view is a keyboard view base. Well, of course it is. And the keyboard view base is likely going to be completely undocumented and leaves us guessing as to what it is, what its purpose is. See, I'm not liking this severe lack of any documentation. What's a keyboard view? Like, my keyboard is on my desk. I'm not displaying a keyboard on the screen. I mean, it's got some methods which do stuff. Compute max height. Why? Keyboard shift. I mean, what's... What's it doing? What's it... How did we get to here? Why were we looking at here? Body is a keyboard view. Why is body a keyboard view? What does keyboard view do? Is keyboard view something to do with that sequencer example that's somehow made its way into the list of widgets that everybody now derives from? Or has it actually got something to do with like pressing keys on a keyboard? And if so, why? It's got some stuff to do with animation, but what's that got to do with pressing keys on the keyboard? No idea. Absolutely no idea. Still don't know what determines the rendering order. Perhaps I should move the toolbar into the body, which, you know, doesn't really make too much sense to me. So, wait, what? So this body is saying the body is a view, but the default theme for a window has a keyboard view. What is this keyboard min shift? Its name doesn't tell me anything at all. It's like, I have got no idea what that is for. Fine. And because it's not Rust code, my IDE doesn't know how to format this stuff properly, which is also annoying. Great. Yeah, I'm not liking this so far at all. I don't know, maybe I'll like it in the future, I don't know. So now we've got this button over here, and then we've got this to the right of this, which isn't where I want it. So perhaps we need to specify flow down on this. And now that appears underneath that. There's this massive border here. Why is there a massive border on that? Is it because there's a P and a P has got some... I'm going to search for the letter P now. Great. So, yeah. Like H1 I can search for, but P. So P's got a margin on it, fine. I don't actually need this, so let's delete it for now. Right. Let's add some more buttons. No, we need to get the button working first. We need to get the button displaying properly. Right, so we've got a red thing. It's not supposed to be red. Like, I could make it a different colour, but it's still going to be broken, right? Right. Is this because... I don't know. Let's get rid of the colour. And you just get that. Why is it failing? Is it failing to even load the file? Let's put a character which we know doesn't exist in the file name. Right, so it is definitely opening the file, because there's an error message down here that says file open failed and could not load a resource. Fine, so we know the file is being loaded. Right. What do we think might be wrong with it? What's different about this SVG to this SVG, for instance? That's sort of what I want to know. It doesn't have... Let's borrow these. DTD, data the description or something, isn't it? Yes. Whether it is actually compliant anymore is another item. Yeah, who knows? Let's see what happens if we run it now. Same problem. So it's nothing to do with the document header. Is it because of the size of it? So width 100%, height 100%, and then it's got this, right? It doesn't look wrong. Kind of curious to know what happens if you do this. No. So it's got paths. Yeah, one for the bit that goes round, and then one for that bit and one for that bit, probably. Style, fill, none. Okay, let's just make it use this one temporarily. I can't see anything wrong with it. But that one works. Why doesn't the SVG rendering work? Okay, it's time for the fix me's. Fix me doesn't render anything, just renders a blank, just renders a box. So the first SVG file I try and make it render, fail. Just so that we're clear on that. And I'll undo the things that I did to this. So that didn't go well, did it? Like, you know, I'm using icons from like a pretty reputable source here. It's not like these are not used by lots of people. Right? I expect it to render without me having to touch the file, because there is no way in hell that I'm going to be getting a bunch of icons from here and then manually touching them up all the time. No, not going to happen. So we're just going to ignore the fact that it's broken and move on. Then we're going to have another button. We're going to continue getting the icons in the hopes that at someday they'll be fixed. Apparently this is save. That's what everyone knows to be save, apparently. Do I need a save in this example? No, I want to open. I want to open. Right, folder, and then it was open. And then because we know that we need them, we need a button for like close all. What icon are we going to use for that? Let's use that one. So this is going to be square X, I suppose. Let's see if we've got 3 buttons in a row. Okay, we've got new, open, and close all. Happy days. So let's just go back to the phloem example that we did, right? I run that just so that we can remind ourselves of what we're trying to build and where we got to with phloem. So the next thing we're going to need to create is a tab bar with tabs on it. Come on, buildy McBuild. Right, so this is where we got to with the phloem thing. So we can add a home tab, and we've got a tab, and we can have a form, which was obviously hideously, like, incorrectly sized, and we could open files, and we could open text files. That's where we got to, and this is what we're trying to recreate in MakePad. Right, and then we've got the close all button, which closes everything. Right, that's what we're trying to get to. So we've got this add home button. We're going to do this as well. Yeah, okay. Probably like a picture of a house. Let's just say home. Yeah, we do get little home buttons. Why is the bottom of that rounded? It's a bit weird. Let's search for house. Is there a little house with a tree? No. Ah. Okay. Not that we can actually see any of these icons yet, but you know, whatever. So we've got some buttons. Okay, so let's go back to the UI zoo thing and look for tabs. There we go. Right. So I do recall seeing some tabs. And interestingly, page up and page down on my keyboard doesn't actually scroll this scrollable thing. But maybe you just have to do it yourself. I don't know. So there's sort of tabs here. This. But the X button doesn't do anything. So let's see if we can find this. Dock. So there's a thing called a dock, and it's got a splitter. I don't care about a splitter at the moment. And then it's got statically defined tabs. Yeah. See, how do we, I don't know, maybe we can find this element and add more tabs to it or something, but I don't know. Oh, this is going to be a mess, this is. I can feel it. Why? Right, okay, so this tab is associated with this content. You just know that this is going to be painful. I'm just looking at this, just thinking of the same problems that I had with Vizier. So Vizier's didn't have dynamic tabs. Its definition of tabs were like static tabs, right? And that's basically what we're seeing here. What I want is tabs that I can open and close and change the content of regardless. Oh my god. It's gonna be annoying. I don't want a split thing either. I don't need this. Where is it? Let me run this again. Aye. Like, because it has this splitter thing, right? I don't need that. I just want this bit, right? So I suppose we have to look at the implementation of doc. Doc. But it needs a splitter. Does it? Does it actually need a splitter? Doc. Here we go. Oh, it's an option. Okay, maybe it. It's got something called root. Is that the... where's this root coming from? This is just a thing. But how does it get used? Is that just something that comes from view? Let's look in this base thing again. Doc base is a doc with nothing. Where's it? What's this root? Is that the name of something? Right, and then visible items. Doc items. Yeah, right. Okay, so it's probably just the name of something, but why? From doc item. What? So it can either be a splitter or tabs or tab. What's this stack? There's a bunch of IDs. Yeah. How am I supposed to define a doc properly without a splitter? Who knows? Let's have a go. Right, so we've got a doc. And we'll make it fill. But what? Can we go root is tabs? I don't know, because I don't care about a splitter. And then tab says what? It's going to have an empty list. And because there's no tabs, you can't say which one is selected. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, I run the wrong one. Hold on. Now we know it's possible to dynamically create tabs because I think the IDE does it. So I've got this thing here now. Oh, I accidentally put that in the toolbar. That's not supposed to be there. And do I go tabs? Is this or something? Something like that. It's not expanded to fill the height. I don't know. So, how do we add a home tab to it? How do we define what something looks like or needs to be, you know, oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even know how to verbalize what I need. We've got to put something in the tabs, right? We need to define what it is that goes in the tab. We've got home tabs and we've got document tabs, right? Let's start by creating a home tab that's displayed and it's always there, right? This isn't what we want long term, but let's just see if we can define it. Like, where do you even define it? So this basically is defining a tab template, permanent tab. What's this permanent tab? And then we've got a closable tab. Let's borrow this. I don't like this having to manually format things. So I guess we need to define a home container. Don't care about any padding or anything like this right now. Let's open up the Floem. Just because I want this. Right, let's see what happens. Oh, well, nothing will happen yet because I've not added the tab in there. Well, that didn't render the emoji, did it? Who knows what font it's using? Yeah. Let's do 2 labels. One without an it and one without an it. How do we think we change the font family? And how do we think we load a font that's got an emoji? And also, why doesn't it render the Unicode character? Okay, fix me doesn't render a Let's see if there's other examples of this. Where's this? Experiments, emoji. Wow. Well, I don't think we're going to be doing any of that. Loading up some data. Parsing a font. Creating a Unicode buffer. Creating glyphs using a shape. Then creating an SVG document from the glyph. Then creating an options. Creating a font database. Yeah. What's this in? Rusty Buzz. Okay, it's a text shaping engine. Like, it'd be nice if it said it's a text shaping engine. Curious. Okay, next. Right, that's within Rust. That's within that. Right. And this is in this libs thing again. Okay. I really don't like this. The fact that there's just like stripped down version of the libraries. I really don't like this because it means that every time one of those libraries gets updated, it means you have to go through this process of updating the library within MakePad. I really do not like that. Unless it's automated, and then it's not so bad. But I doubt that it will be automated, because how would you know if you're stripping things correctly if you update it? If the library's updated, how you know you're stripping all the things out of it properly? I really don't like that. Like, let me look at the cargo file for this again. Let's look at the UI zoo cargo file. No, not that one. This one. When does it use the how is it configured to use things in this libs thing, this base 64 thing, for instance, right? Are other things in libs automatically included by cargo? Cargo doesn't mention anything about libs specifically. No. So how do these libs actually get used? So this MakePad base 64 Oh right, they just specify it manually like this. There's no magic cargo-ness going on. Fine. Okay, we're getting really far off track now. I can't even. What am I, this? So rendering emojis not good. So this is where we've got to now. I guess we need to go flow down. Yeah. Width and height. And then we've got a line. And I think it's X. And then do you specify like that? Yeah, okay. So, you know, we've got a home tab. So surprisingly, that sort of worked. Right, but we can't close it yet. Let's try making it so we can close it. So we need to look at how we're supposed to handle events and do things. I guess there's this match event for app, right? Match event for app. And then we've got handle actions, right? And then I suppose we go UI dot and then radio button set. No, not radio button set. It's something like docs or something, but button set. Like, let's search for doc. Doc set? I don't know. And I suppose we use this IDs. And does it have a name? Is this the name? Tabs? And then where does this, it's got this, right, so this is a macro, so maybe that does something. How do we know? What does this give you back? Okay, right, fine. We're trying to work out how to find the close button. I don't like this. Right, with other with other frameworks, that are Rust based, not DSL based, when you define the dock or whatever like this, or the close button or whatever, at that point you specify what to do when it's clicked, right? But now I don't even know what I'm trying to get, how to get to it, or how I'm supposed to access the close button to find out whether it's been clicked or not. I've got no idea of like any references to anything, and nothing's documented. This is a nightmare, frankly. So this studio thing, right? Let's just run this, because this thing has got some tabs which you can open and you can close them, right? So somewhere hiding in here there might be a little hint on how to do it, right? Because it's got this stuff, right? And it's got an X and you can close it, right? The fact that there's no default sizes for those is a bit funky, but whatever. But that can be closed, right? So it is possible to do it. So it gets open code file by path. Create and select tab. Okay, that's useful. We might be needing that soon. Bookmark that. So we've got this match event for app. Should we see what this dock is? Is that defined in here? Maybe. Yes. Bunch of splitters, yeah, fine. Blah 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 blah. So let's see if we can search for this. No. How does this? Close tabs. In this bit. Oh my god. File system action. What's this? What's this action anyway? Doc action. Here we go. Look. So as widget action. There is no way I'd ever know to do that. Right, we've got action. Oh, this is just a nightmare looking through this. Jeez, look at it. Handle action. But this is actions. Should we be handling an action or actions? Honestly, don't know. But now we've got an action. And we've got this horrible formatting going on. All the scrolling. Doc action. So we need a doc. And then we've got this tab ID. Where's it getting this tab ID from? Oh right, that's that. Why is it complaining about this? Horrible formatting. And it's complaining about that because why? Let's see what happens if we try and build it. Is it just the IDE being funny? No, I'm building the wrong thing. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I'm missing the match statement. That would be useful. I thought we were missing something there. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's fine. God damn it. Just stop. What? It's fine. So we're interested in trying to close this. No, nothing. Do we even get called? No. Is this here overriding anything? It is overriding something, so that's fine. Just floundering around in the dark with this, aren't we? Really not enjoying this experience. Let's make some notes, journals. Floundering around in the dark. Lots of cross-referencing and cut, paste, debug. Cut, paste, run, debug. Repeat workflow, which I don't like. Yeah. Yeah. Don't like it. How long have we been going so far? 2.5 hours. Have we got anything that works? Let's just quickly review after 2.5 hours. We've got a window with some buttons that don't have icons that work properly. We've got a tab with a close button that doesn't work. And we've got some stuff that's centered correctly with some padding and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of works. Overall, it doesn't look totally hideous, but it doesn't match anything else on my system either. Like, let's just remind ourselves what Notepad looks like, you know. The theme is nothing like the system theme, for instance. I'm not sure if the font's the same. It doesn't look the same. Yeah. The close buttons and all this kind of stuff, they similar but not actual native ones. Yeah. So we don't know why this doesn't work. We don't know why this code isn't being called at all. Do we think this is being called? Yeah, we've got some actions here. I mean, we are getting some stuff. So we've got actions and not action. Are we supposed to do something in handle action that calls handle action? Yes. Yes, I suppose we are. So we're supposed to magically do this. Right, so if we just don't override it. I don't know, we can do it. We can keep it for now. Oh, it broke. Stack buffer overrun. Is it because of this? No, it breaks. Great, so we get a random panic when we try and handle an action. Okay, so there was some other doc action, fine. Okay, we'll just ignore it then, instead of doing that. Right. Tab close was pressed, you see. So why doesn't it do anything? Is it that it's not matching it, or is it another problem? No. So close tab doesn't close the tab. Why does close tab not close the tab? Is it because it needs to be a closable tab or something stupid? Who knows? So these tabs are apparently closable. But there's nothing in it which says specifically about closing. Closable false. Do we have tabs? Is a tab closable by default? Template closable tab. Do we even have this thing? Closable tab, closable true. Why can't I close my tab? Do I need to redraw things? Self data build. I don't know what this data is. I mean, it doesn't. Do I need to tell it to redraw? Do I need to do this? And if so, why? No. So why doesn't close tab do anything? Why is there a Boolean keep item for closing a tab? What is an item? Why would you need to keep it? If we are the last tab, we need to remove a splitter. I don't have any splitters to remove. Let's put a breakpoint here. We don't even get there. Why am I not surprised? Okay, so we go closing tab. We don't get anything. Why? Is this because this is not the right thing? Let's go foo here. Let's see what happens. So it's probably something to do with that. How do I get my doc? So the Studio app gets a doc. I go in doc, right? Self UI doc, and then it uses this ID. So if we search for doc, we've got a body with a thing in it that is named doc, which is a doc, right? And I've got a body. Oh, it's called tabs. Okay. Well, let's just call it doc for the sake of simplicity. It closed it. Yay. Okay, so it was that. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can add the home back by yeah. So if we run this and click home like this, we see an action. Right, which was one of these ones, like this clicked thing, right? So perhaps here, if we go if self.ui dot, I don't know. Was it buttons set? And then what do you give it? Oh, you give it ID of I don't know what. How do I know which? Right, so this doesn't have an ID. Home new open close, or perhaps like this, I don't know. The fact that this is called new and it's got an ID called new means you can't use new anywhere else, and I don't like that. I might be wrong with that, but if imagine I've got a document that's open and I want to have another button on there which creates something and it's called new. Right, maybe it's, I don't know, new component or new part or new phase or something, right? I'm not sure about that, this naming of these things, but maybe the buttons could be named okay, I don't know, but it wants actions. Oh, maybe it's not a button set, maybe it's a button. No idea. It's all sort of hidden inside a macro a derive macro. So if news click, then what do we do? We created a bookmark. Where's my bookmarks? There it is. Which was this create and select tab. Find tab bar of tab. What? So you have to create a new tab ID. What is file ID? Don't really care about that. What does unique tab ID do? You give it a U64 and it gives you a live ID back? How do I just generate? I don't know. Do I care? What am I supposed to put here? What happens if I make 2 of these with 0 on it? No idea. Don't know what a tab ID is. Don't know if they need to be unique. Don't know. Don't know. So many unanswered questions. So many unanswered questions. Right. So then what did it do? It did some opening file, fine. And then it did this for some reason. Find tab bar of tab. Why do we even need to do this? And then there's this edit first. Let's just refresh our memory of what this studio thing looks like. Because they have these sort of like empty tabs, I think is what it is, right? This thing is apparently a tab. Right? Why do you even need this? What's the point of being able to click this? Like, this makes sense, right? What's the point of this? Like, It's not really a tab, is it? What's the point of all this? What's the point? So this is trying to find this. And this icon tab is not closable. So it's got this edit first tab. And it was trying to get that. And it's got edit underscore first. So it tries to. Why? I don't care about. I don't have this tab, right? I have a tab bar with no tabs on it, right? So I don't care about finding the tab bar from a tab when I don't have any tabs. So I don't think we need to do this, but we need to have a tab bar in order to do the next thing, which is to create a tab, which is this, right? So we need to get a tab bar from something, right? What other options give us a tab bar on a dock? Let's have a look at the implementation of it to see how it does that. Dock item tabs. So you can get some items. Root? Do I get root? I have no idea. I want this tabs. Do I have to iterate over it or something stupid? I bet I do. It's like the only tabs. But I don't know. Create tab. Parent. I don't know. Maybe we don't need a tab bar. Maybe we... fuck knows. What? ID doc. I don't know. I mean, what does this give you back? Gives you an option of a live ID and a size. And this gives me do I need that? Okay. And then why does it need a code editor? A kind. Okay, so let's say this is a home container. And then it's got this no idea. Oh, it's probably like the title, isn't it? But why doesn't it pick it up? Name, see, probably home. And then insert after. Okay, we can make that none. Let's see what happens. No, run the right program. We've got to fix this. Let's go. That doesn't work. So clicked, and is it? Do you pass it a reference? No. Let's have a look. Why? It wants actions. But I only have an action. Does this need to be moved somewhere else? Why isn't there a clicked that takes a single action? Seems stupid. Is this supposed to be button set now? And why do I care about a set of them? That doesn't work. Is it supposed to be a button set? Why do I care? What? And then it's got a reference to that, but why? Why has it got, where's this actions? So actions is a reference to actions, and then it's creating another reference from a reference. So it's a reference to a reference of actions. And this one goes UI button set, panic, clicked actions. And then this one goes IO, IDs. It seems a bit silly that you have to do that. Still doesn't do anything. And then why should I do this first? Body toolbar home. Okay, let's look at the UI zoo button clicked thing. And this is handle actions. So it's button rather than button set. What's the difference between button and button set? Is it if any of these IDs are clicked? But surely that would still be correct. No, still doesn't do anything. What am I not doing? Basic button, right? How is this button defined in here? Basic button. It goes basic button equals button and then whatever, right? And then this new thing, basic button, button flat, text, I can be clicked. Right? What's the difference? Is this, am I specifying the name of it wrong? Does it need to be body toolbar new here? No idea. Nope. How'd you make it work? I just want some code that runs when I click a button. It would be nice. Why does this want a... Like, does this even compile like this? I can be clicked. Basic button clicked, right? That's this. So what's the difference between this code and my code? Is it this being in front of this? Let's just, you know, we're just playing guessing games with this stuff. It's just, ugh. No. I'm scrolling up through the list. That's where I click it. Clicked. This. Like, what's the difference? Self UI button, right? Here we've got UI with clone in it. I don't know why we would need to do this, why there is a clone, but I found this in some other example. But because I'm programming by example, I don't know whether the example is right or wrong, or whether I need it. Still nothing. So it's not that. So what's the difference? If self UI button, ID macro with the name of the button. The name of the button is just defined. The button is defined like this. It's a basic button of type button. Now I've got a button of a different type, which is a button flat. So for shits and giggles, let's just copy this Put it here, call it new, and comment out this. Oh, I was pressing the wrong button all the time. God damn it. Never mind. That's my bad. I wanted to be using this button. Okay. Home. Right, it might work now. Adding home tab, it says, but it doesn't do anything. Right. So at least this runs, but this doesn't do anything. Probably because this tab bar is not right. I mean, like, should it be root? Oh, it was. Okay. Right. Well, at least it doesn't crash like Floem did. Because with Floem, it just basically crashed if there's no tabs. It doesn't do that. It's kind of weird that there's no content here. But whatever. Okay, let's make the close all button work now that we've got multiple buttons. But before we do that, let's do a commit. What is this? First cut. Initial commit of tab document UI example, let's say. We want this. We want this. We need a cargo toml file. It needs a better README. There. Okay. This. Let's just quickly check the license for this. MIT license. We're good. Okay. So, yeah. Do you know what? I think I'm going to call it there for today. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it there for today. What's next? What's next? Making the close all button work. Then adding some code to decide whether the home tab should be present when it starts up, and fulfilling some of the other requirements that we detailed in this. So yeah. And then making the open button work, and then adding document tabs and all that kind of thing, I suppose. Yeah, and then we're going to have to deal with all the state and all the rest of it at some point. Fine. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, we'll pick this up on the next stream. And yeah, hope this was useful to anyone else looking into how to use MakePad. For me, my experience thus far has been frustrating. Yeah, that's probably the best way of putting it. Frustrating. Current pain points, very undiscoverable, no API documentation, left floundering around in the dark, cross-referencing all of the examples, copying and pasting, running and debugging and repeating workflow, which isn't fun. Because there's no unit tests or anything like that, you know. There's no you can't automate the testing of it yet. Many unanswered questions. Some odd panics when you don't do something correctly. When you have like a to-do in it, for instance, you get a Stack Overflow instead of just like a panic. That's a bit funny. I'll make a note of that actually. Stack Overflow when event handler has a to-do in it. Yeah, and then spot the difference debugging when something doesn't work. You're like, oh, okay, well, how does it differ from the example and so on? In the particular case that I had, mind you, that was on me. I was using the wrong button, the wrong name for the button. I was clicking the home button instead of the new button. I wanted to be clicking the home button, but my code said when you click the new button, do this. So once I worked that out, it was all right. But it wasn't fun either. But yeah. So that's my thoughts so far. I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. I have some hope for it, right? Don't get me wrong, I have some hope for this one. But it's painful. The lack of documentation everywhere is very painful. All right, okay, so just remember, folks, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll find out on the next one. See ya.